Hey guys, I said I was going to be going to sleep soon, and maybe I will, but I do have another thought on my mind that I wanted to bring up before I go for my nap. See if anybody tunes in. So, I wanted to talk about the imagination and kind of like restoring that. So I just made a video on the body, and I was talking about how kind of in our Christian circles, oftentimes the body is kind of neglected or suppressed, or the positive purposes of it are sort of lost when there is so much good that it's capable of. And I feel like our imaginations are the same, and this is something I actually learned from April Lewis, so I want to give her credit for this initial thought. And that is that, our imaginations, we should be scared of them, right? Anything that's sort of fear-based or fear-guided, be careful of those kind of things in the church, because where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom, and perfect love casts out fear. So we don't have to be afraid in those ways. We don't have to be afraid of our bodies, and we don't have to be afraid of our imaginations. And so usually in the church culture, our imagination is associated with like temptation and, fantasy, pornography, lust. Like we think of it in a negative context. So we're almost afraid of our imaginations. But hi, Claire. But basically, our imaginations are awesome. And, as creative people and living under a creative God, our imagination should be just like off the chain and like having a great time creatively and design and conceptually and just enjoyment, and even in fantastical or exciting new possibilities. Now, taking this into the spiritual realm and kind of explicitly like the Christian or the church realm, we can use our imaginations to kind of explore and go further in our relationship with God. So if you close your eyes and, imagine like a gate. You can do visualization basically. So you can imagine a gate in front of you, and then what's around you, like you're in a garden, and then, you see Jesus, and like, what is he has a gift for you. Like, what does he have for you? Right. And so you're now in your mind's eye, and you're using your imagination to explore, and you're inviting God, you're inviting Jesus Christ into your imagination to kind of have this experience with him. And it's really incredible. So, in my visualization practices, sort of restoring or redeeming the imagination in my way, I went on this experience with Jesus, and I went to heaven with him, and we went to, first we were running through the field, and then we got to a cliff, and it was kind of like, you're gonna stay at the cliff, or are you gonna fly? Because we can fly. And I didn't feel like Christ was like pressuring me, but he just like gave me his hand. It was just an invitational, kind of like, yeah. And I flew, and it was awesome. It was like soaring above it all. I felt so free. And yeah, we went up to heaven, and God the Father was on his throne. And he was so cool. He was, he kind of reminded me of like Father Christmas, like in that he was so joyful, and he was just so like, he was laughing tons. Like he was such a joyful God. He is such a joyful God. And so I went up on his lap like I'm his kid, and I'm like this little baby, and so I'm on God's lap, and he starts tossing me into the air, and he's like laughing. He's like, and I'm laughing because I'm like, what the heck is this? Like, this is so strange, and God's laughing, and I'm like thinking this is hilarious, and I love it. And I'm just his baby, and he's just throwing me into the air, and I'm giggling, and he's giggling. And then, as the Trinity began this divine dance, and, I think God the Father initiated, but I can't remember. But anyway, so he's like dancing these like, he's kind of like, see if I can like demonstrate. It's just like boom, 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 boom. It was like these huge like strides, and like when God began to dance, like the heavens shook and like trembled, and like you could feel the effect of his movement. It was so powerful and so joyful, and so like Jesus and the Holy Spirit and God are like in this circle, and they invite me to dance. Like God invites me to dance with him. And at first I was just watching him dance. Like, it was incredible. And then, he invited me to join, and I did. And that was amazing. And then after a while, so we're all going in a circle, basically, like a circle dance. After a while, I just watched again, but it was incredible. And anyway, this is just an example of how you can just be still and be with the Lord and begin to use your mind, begin to use visualization and your imagination to pray and to be with God and to ask God like what he has for you and what he thinks of you, and just begin to develop like that kind of a relationship. So that may be a totally new aspect to your spirituality, but I just want to share that because I don't like that the imagination is being rejected in many of our church cultures. And it's like, oh, be careful of that imagination. Like, we need to be logical. We need to focus. We need to use reason. And honestly, guys, there's only so far that reason can go. And then faith kicks in, right? Because we can't prove every little jot and tittle. There's a mystery there. And I don't know about you, but I love the mystery. And I'm super comfortable and at rest within the mystery. I don't have to understand it all. I'm good with it. Like, I like that it's bigger than my mind, So anyway, just wanted to encourage you with those ideas. And our imaginations are awesome. And God made them. So enjoy. Bye.